The Sunday family dinner table fell silent as my mother made her announcement, beaming with the self-satisfaction of someone who believed they'd solved everyone's problems. The crystal chandelier cast shadows across her perfectly composed face as she raised her wine glass. "Alexander, darling, we found the perfect solution for poor cousin Marcus and his family." I carefully cut into my steak, already knowing where this conversation was heading. At 34, I'd spent years building my empire in silence while my family assumed I was just a moderately successful real estate agent. In reality, I owned Davidson International Properties, a corporation valued at $3.2 billion. "Mom, what solution might that be?" I asked calmly, though I already knew. "Your guest house, the one behind that little property you manage in Hampton Hills." Marcus lost his job, and with 3 children, what my mother didn't know was that the little property she referred to was now the Davidson Executive Retreat Center, a luxury corporate training facility that hosted Fortune 500 companies at $50,000 per day. The guest house was actually a $12 million state-of-the-art conference center where CEOs made billion-dollar decisions. "We've already told them they can move in next week." Dad chimed in, helping himself to more wine. Marcus was so relieved he cried. I set down my fork, counting silently to 10. Around the table sat my entire family: Mom and Dad, my sister Patricia with her husband George, and of course cousin Marcus himself, looking hopefully at me with red-rimmed eyes. "The guest house isn't available," I said quietly. "Don't be ridiculous," Mom waved her hand dismissively. "That property barely gets any use. Your father drove by last week and said it was empty." Of course it was empty. We were between bookings. Next week, the Board of European Technologies was flying in for their annual strategy meeting. The contract alone was worth $2.3 million. "The property is being used for business purposes," I explained. "Business purposes?" Marcus spoke up, his voice trembling. "Alex, my kids are sleeping on an air mattress in my sister's basement. Surely whatever business you're doing can be moved somewhere else. It's family." Ah yes, the magic word, family. The same family who'd laughed when I started buying properties 10 years ago. The same family who'd called me a fool for investing my savings instead of getting a real job like Marcus had. "I'm sorry, but it's not possible." Alexander James Davidson. Mom's voice took on that sharp edge I knew too well. "Your cousin needs help. This isn't the way we raised you." I pulled out my phone and opened my calendar app. Next week, that property is hosting the Board of European Technologies. The week after that, it's booked for Goldman Sachs's executive retreat. Following that, we have European Technologies. George, my brother-in-law, suddenly looked interested. "The tech giant, why would they use some random guest house?" "Because," I said slowly, "it's not a guest house. It's part of the Davidson Executive Retreat Center. A fully staffed, luxury corporate training facility that generates approximately $73 million in annual revenue." The silence that followed was deafening. 5 pairs of eyes stared at me in various stages of disbelief. But you're just a real estate agent," Patricia stuttered. "You manage properties for other people." I smiled and pulled out my laptop. "No, I own properties, quite a few of them actually. Davidson International Properties currently holds assets valued at $3.2 billion across 12 countries. Mom's wine glass slipped from her fingers, spilling red across her precious tablecloth. Dad's fork clattered against his plate. That's impossible," Marcus whispered. "You can't be." "The Davidson Executive Retreat Center is just one of our properties." I continued, turning my laptop to show them the company website. "We also own the downtown office complex you work in, George. And the luxury apartment building where you live, Patricia. And yes, even this house." "This house?" Mom's voice rose an octave. "But we own this house." "You rent this house," I corrected gently. "From a subsidiary of Davidson International Properties. I bought it through a shell company last year when you were struggling with the mortgage." The family photos on the walls suddenly seemed to mock them. All those pictures of them patronizing me, dismissing my little real estate hobby while I slowly built an empire around them. "Why didn't you tell us?" Dad demanded, his face flushed. Would it have mattered? 10 years ago, when I asked to borrow $10,000 to buy my first property, you told me I was being irresponsible. When I started purchasing distressed properties and renovating them, you told me to stop playing businessman. Even last Christmas, you were telling everyone how worried you were about my lack of career direction. Marcus slumped in his chair. But surely as family I cut him off. You should have supported my dreams instead of mocking them. As family you should have seen my potential instead of dismissing it. As family you should have. My phone buzzed. A message from my executive assistant. Sir, the European Technologies Advanced team has arrived to begin setup. They're requesting approval for some technical modifications to the conference center. Excuse me, I stood up. I have actual business to attend to. Wait. Mom's voice was desperate now. Alexander, we need to discuss this. The family needs to understand something, I said firmly. I built this empire while you all thought I was failing. I created billions in value while you told me to get serious about my future. And now that you know the truth, you think you can just help yourselves to my success. But Marcus's children, Dad began, will need to find other accommodations. The Davidson Executive Retreat Center is not a charity housing project. It's a business, my business. I gathered my things watching as the reality of the situation slowly dawned on their faces. The little guest house they'd so casually given away was worth more than all their combined assets. The struggling son they'd pitied was now their landlord. I have a meeting with European Technologies Board, I said, heading for the door. Their contract alone is worth more than this house.
Oh.
If you'll excuse me, Alexander, Mom's voice stopped me. You can't just leave. We're family. I turned back one last time. Yes, we are, and family should have believed in me when it mattered, not just when they need something. As I drove toward the retreat center, my phone buzzed continuously with messages from various family members. Mom, we need to talk about this. Dad, son, let's discuss business opportunities. Patricia, you own my building. Marcus, please. My kids. I muted them all and focused on the road ahead. The Davidson Executive Retreat Center rose before me, its modern architecture gleaming in the setting sun. Security guards nodded respectfully as I passed through the gates. Gates that would remain firmly closed to any unauthorized family members. My assistant met me in the lobby. Sir, the European Technologies team is waiting in the main conference room. Also, your mother has called 17 times in the last 10 minutes. Hold all family calls indefinitely, I instructed. And Sarah, make sure security knows no family members are to be admitted to any Davidson properties without explicit authorization from me. Yes, sir. And the dinner meeting scheduled for next Sunday. Cancel it. Send them the updated rental agreement for their house instead. Market rate this time. The European Technologies Board members were already settling into the conference room when I arrived. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows I could see my family's cars pulling into the parking lot, no doubt coming to continue their demands. Mr. Davidson, the CEO greeted me. Impressive facility you have here. Thank you. I smiled as security smoothly intercepted my approaching family members. Shall we discuss your company's future? The next 2 hours passed in a blur of strategic planning and multi-million-dollar decisions. Through the windows, I occasionally caught glimpses of my family being politely but firmly escorted off the property. Mom's indignant voice carried faintly through the soundproof glass. Marcus sat in his car, staring at the building in disbelief. When the meeting ended, Sarah appeared with updates. Your mother has posted on social media about ungrateful children. Your father is threatening to cut you out of his will. Marcus is telling people you stole the family's property portfolio. I laughed. Send them all copies of the property deeds, business registrations, and bank statements. Let them see exactly how I stole my success, by working while they were mocking. And their house? Give them 60 days to either start paying market rate or find new accommodation. It's time they learned, this success isn't given. It's earned. Looking out over my property empire as night fell, I felt no regret. 10 years of silent building, of enduring their condescension while amassing power they couldn't imagine. Now they knew the truth, but truth without understanding was worthless. My phone buzzed one final time. A group text from the family. This isn't what family does. We demand a meeting to discuss your responsibilities to the family legacy. I typed back a single response. I am the family legacy, and my guest house is not available. Then I turned back to building my empire, the one they'd never believed in until it was too late. The morning after my revelation brought chaos I'd anticipated. My assistant's desk was flooded with calls, and security had already turned away 3 separate attempts by family members to enter the retreat center. Sarah appeared in my office doorway, tablet in hand. Your mother has started a Facebook group called The Truth About Alexander Davidson. So far it has 8 members, all family. I continued reviewing contracts for our newest acquisition, a luxury resort in the Maldives. Any actual business concerns? European Technologies Board is impressed. They want to book the entire facility for 6 months next year. The contract would be worth, Mr. Davidson, security interrupted through the intercom. Your cousin Marcus is live streaming from the parking lot. He's telling quite a story. I pulled up the security feed. There was Marcus, disheveled in his worn suit, gesturing wildly at the camera. This is the property my cousin stole from our family. My grandfather built this guest house with his own hands, and now, Sarah, send legal the stream link, and pull up the property records from 1952. She tapped her tablet. Already done, sir. The property was actually a bankrupt farm when you bought it in 2015. Your grandfather never owned it. Send those records to every family member, and have security remove Marcus gently. He has enough material for his pity party already. My phone buzzed a text from Patricia. Just found out you own my company's building too. We need to talk about the rent increases. I forwarded it to my commercial leasing department with a note. Review all family-connected tenant agreements. Adjust to current market rates. The floor-to-ceiling windows of my office offered a perfect view of the drama unfolding below. Mom had arrived now, designer handbag swinging as she tried to convince security she had maternal authority to enter any building her son owned. Sarah appeared again. Your father's insurance company called. They're interested in leasing the entire 5th floor of the downtown complex. At triple their current rate, I specified. No family discounts. Also, Marcus's wife is crying on Instagram about her children being homeless. It's getting some local attention. I pulled up their financial records. Send an anonymous tip to her followers about the 3 rental properties they own in Florida. Fully paid for, currently sitting empty. The security feed showed Marcus being escorted to his car, still streaming and crying about family betrayal. Mom had progressed to threatening to call the local news. Dad was on his phone, probably trying to leverage his business contacts. Mr. Davidson, my CFO, entered with a thick folder. The quarterly reports are ready. We've exceeded projections by 47%. The European Technologies deal alone. A commotion outside interrupted him. Through the glass walls, I saw Patricia arguing with my security team, waving what appeared to be childhood photos. I have proof. See, this is us playing here when it was just a farm. Family property. I pressed the intercom. Security, please remind my sister that trespassing charges apply to family members too. And Sarah, send her the satellite images of what this property actually looked like in our childhood. Hint, it was 3 miles away from where we played. My phone lit up with another family text chain. Mom, emergency family meeting tonight. Attendance mandatory. Dad, son, let's discuss this like businessmen. Patricia, this is elder abuse. You're destroying Mom. Marcus, my children are crying. I forwarded the entire chain to legal with 2 words: document everything. The CFO cleared his throat. Sir, about those reports. Yes, Robert, show me how much money I made while my family was busy planning how to spend it. As we reviewed the numbers, Sarah managed the growing crisis outside. Mom had now graduated to calling local TV stations. Patricia was tagging business journalists in social media posts about family corporate betrayal. Marcus had moved his live stream to YouTube, though his viewer count seemed stuck at 11. Sir, Sarah's voice held a note of amusement. Your mother just tried to book the retreat center for a family reconciliation event. She used your old childhood credit card number. Send her the corporate rate sheet. $50,000 per day, minimum 3-day booking. Payment required in advance. She says she'll tell everyone about your embarrassing teenage years if you don't cooperate. Tell her I'll release the footage of her trying to use a child's expired credit card to book a multi-million-dollar facility. Through the windows, I watched the family drama continue to unfold. Mom was now sitting in her car, presumably drafting another social media manifesto. Dad was making business calls, likely trying to find someone who could pressure me. Patricia had resorted to taking photos of herself crying in front of the gates. My phone buzzed again. A message from Marcus's wife. How dare you embarrass us by revealing our Florida properties? That was private family business. I typed back, like my corporate retreat center was private business. Interesting standard. Sarah appeared with more updates. Sir, your mother has now started a blog called My Son the Tyrant. Your father is telling his business associates you're having a mental breakdown. And Marcus, enough. I held up my hand. How's the European technology setup coming along? Perfect, sir. Their advanced team is impressed. They're talking about booking all our properties for their global executive training. I smiled. See, real business continues while family drama fades. Speaking of which, have legal prepare cease and desist letters for any family members using our corporate names or properties in their social media campaigns. Already done. Also, your cousin's live stream has ended. Apparently his phone service was cut off. Something about unpaid bills despite those Florida rental properties. Looking out over my empire as the sun set, I watched my family's cars finally leaving the parking lot. Mom's angry gestures were visible through her windshield. Dad's slumped shoulders showed his defeat. Patricia's mascara-streaked face, reflected in her rear-view mirror. Marcus was the last to leave, his live stream equipment packed sadly away in his trunk. The same trunk that probably held the air mattress his children supposedly slept on, while their Florida properties sat empty. Sarah, I called out, cancel my attendance at Sunday dinner indefinitely. Send them all official communication guidelines. All contact goes through legal from now on. Yes, sir, and the family meeting they've planned for tonight. Send them the quote from last year's Christmas dinner. You know when Dad said I needed to stop playing businessman and get serious about life. Attach our current market valuation. As night fell over my property empire, the lights of the retreat center illuminated the grounds where my family had tried to stake their claim. Tomorrow European Technologies would begin their board meeting, making decisions worth billions. My family would probably still be outside, demanding their share of success they'd never believed in. My phone showed 57 unread family messages, 3 new social media campaigns against me, and 1 poorly written blog post about the real Alexander Davidson story. I left them all unread. My empire hadn't been built on family approval, and it wouldn't be run on family demands. They'd either accept that or keep screaming into the void. Either way, I had a business to run. A week after my family's failed attempt to commandeer my guest house, the situation had evolved from dramatic to almost farcical. I sat in my private boardroom, reviewing security footage of their latest schemes while European Technologies executives prepared for their presentation next door. Your mother has escalated, Sarah reported, trying to hide her amusement. She's now hired a skywriter. I looked up through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Sure enough, there in the clear blue sky, Alexander member, family. Send her the bill for violating our airspace regulations, I said, returning to my reports. And remind her that her lease renewal is coming up. Sir, Marcus has started a GoFundMe campaign, homeless family betrayed by billionaire cousin. I pulled up the page on my laptop. The description was a masterpiece of creative writing, claiming the guest house had been promised to our children, and that I had stolen our family's legacy. Forward it to legal, and anonymously donate $5 with a comment linking to his Florida property records. The intercom buzzed. Mr. Davidson? The European Technologies CEO requests your presence. And, your father is in the lobby claiming to be your business advisor. Tell the CEO I'll be right there. Have security escort my father out, professionally. And Sarah, send him the video from last Thanksgiving where he called my business a cute hobby. As I walked to the main conference room, my phone lit up with family messages. Mom, the skywriter was expensive. The least you could do is respond. Patricia, my rent just tripled. This is family persecution. Marcus, GoFundMe froze my account. Did you do this? Dad, I've been in business 30 years. You need my experience. I muted them all and entered the conference room where real business awaited. Mr. Davidson, the CEO greeted me. Impressive facility. Though your family seems passionate about real estate. Through the windows, I could see Mom now holding a one-woman protest with a handmade sign. My son chose money over family. They're passionate about other people's success. I replied smoothly. Now about that global training contract. 2 hours later, I'd secured a $300 million deal, the largest in my company's history. As the executives left, Sarah appeared with updates. Your mother's sign blew away and hit a news van. They're doing a story but not the one she wanted. Local woman damages media property in failed protest is trending locally. Send her the bill for any property damage. And the cleaning cost for removing her heel marks from our lobby floor. Marcus's wife is now claiming you're causing her children's anxiety by not giving them your guest house. She started a TikTok series. I pulled up the security feeds. The parking lot had become a family staging ground. Mom was giving tearful interviews to anyone who'd listen. Dad was trying to network with arriving executives. Patricia was photographing herself, homeless in front of my building, while wearing a new designer outfit. Sir, Sarah's voice held a note of concern. They've announced a family intervention. They're setting up chairs in the parking lot. I watched as they arranged folding chairs in a circle, complete with a professional intervention counselor they'd somehow convinced to participate. Activate the sprinkler system in that sector. Already done, sir. Also, your mother's Skywriter has returned. This time it says Alexander needs family therapy. Bill her for airspace violation again. And send her the therapy bills from when they all mocked my ridiculous business dreams. My phone buzzed. Message from the European Technologies CEO. Family drama aside, we're doubling our contract. Your facility is exactly what we need. Though the skywriting is unique, I smiled and turned to Sarah. Prepare the expanded contract and send my family the new company valuation. Now $4.1 billion. Attach a note, thanks for not believing in me. It made success much sweeter. Through the windows, I watched the sprinklers disperse the intervention attempt. The counselor left hurriedly, looking confused. Mom's designer dress was ruined. Dad's business contacts were backing away quickly. Patricia's makeup was running, ruining her homeless photo shoot. Sir, security called. Marcus is trying to climb the fence. Should we? Call the police. Gently. Make sure his live stream captures everything. My phone showed new messages. Mom, the sprinklers ruined my Chanel. Dad, you're destroying valuable business connections. Patricia, my Instagram followers are unfollowing me. Marcus, the police are here. How could you? I forwarded them all to legal for documentation and turned back to actual business. The European Technologies deal would expand my empire significantly. My family's drama would only make the success sweeter. Sarah, send them all copies of their past messages mocking my business. Highlight the parts about wasting my life and playing businessman. At our current stock price. Looking out over my property as sunset approached, I watched my family's final desperate attempts. Mom was wringing water from her ruined dress. Dad was trying to salvage his business relationships. Patricia was attempting to spin her wet photo shoot as artistic. Marcus was explaining to police why he thought climbing a security fence was acceptable. Sir, Sarah appeared one last time. They've announced a family boycott of all Davidson properties. Interesting, since they all live or work in Davidson properties. Send them their lease agreements. Remind them that boycotting means moving out. My empire hadn't been built on their support. It wouldn't be damaged by their drama. Success was the best revenge, especially when served with automated sprinklers. Oh, and Sarah, send them all invitations to next month's corporate gala. As paid guests, no family discount. After all, if they wanted to be part of my success now, they could pay for the privilege. Just like everyone else. 1 month after the sprinkler incident, I stood at the podium of our corporate gala, surveying the crowd of business elite gathered in the grand ballroom. The European Technologies deal had made headlines. Our stock had soared and Davidson International Properties was now valued at $5.2 billion. My family sat at the furthest table, dressed in their finest tickets paid in full, no discount given. Mom had finally stopped the skywriting. Dad had ceased claiming business expertise. Patricia had deleted her homeless photo shoot. And Marcus, well, his GoFundMe had raised exactly $43. Sir, Sarah whispered, your family has requested a private meeting before your speech. I checked my watch. 5 minutes. They met me in a side room looking different than they had a month ago, humbled, perhaps even understanding. Alexander, Mom started, no drama in her voice for once. We've been wrong, so very wrong. For years, Dad added, we dismissed your vision, mocked your dreams, we were blind. Patricia spoke next. My rent doubled, I complained. Then I researched market rates. You'd been charging me half of what everyone else paid. For years, the Florida properties, Marcus said quietly, the ones I hid while claiming homelessness. They've been foreclosed, bad investments, just like every business decision I've ever made. I studied them silently, waiting. We're not here to ask for anything. Mom continued. We needed you to know we understand now. Dad pulled out an old photograph. Me at 24, buying my first property while they all laughed in the background. You built an empire while we were busy mocking it, he said. That's extraordinary. The guest house, Marcus added. I never had any right to it. I saw your success and thought I deserved a piece of it. I checked my watch again. 2 minutes until my speech. Wait, Mom reached for her purse. We have something for you. She pulled out a stack of papers. Their signatures were at the bottom. We're moving out of all Davidson properties. Dad explained. No drama, no demands. We'll pay market rates somewhere else or learn to succeed on our own. Patricia and I are enrolling in business classes. Marcus added, starting from scratch, learning properly, and I'm retiring from managing your life. Mom said softly, you've managed it quite well without my interference. I took the papers, reading them carefully, formal lease terminations, signed apologies for the social media campaigns, even a notarized statement acknowledging they had no claim to any Davidson properties. The gala, I said finally. Stay for it. As guests, not family. Watch what your little hobby has become. They nodded, understanding the distinction. And next month, I continued, I'm opening a small business incubator. For people with dreams but no support. Like I was. If you'd like to learn, actually learn, not demand, you can apply. Like everyone else. Mom's eyes welled up, but she held back the dramatic tears I'd expected. We'd like that. To learn from you, properly this time. As students, Dad added. Not advisors. The guest house, I smiled slightly, is being expanded into a training center for new entrepreneurs. People who hear no but dream yes. People whose families don't believe in them. They absorbed that, understanding the message. Now, I have a speech to give. About building success despite doubters. About turning mockery into motivation. About family. They tensed. About family being something you choose, not something you're born into. About earning respect, not demanding it. I headed for the door, then turned back one last time. The skywriting was creative though. Almost as creative as claiming grandfather built a guest house he never owned. For the first time they laughed at themselves. Not at me. At the podium moments later, I surveyed my empire's newest expansion. The European Technologies deal had just been the beginning. Success built on determination tasted sweeter than success built on handouts. My family sat quietly, watching, learning, finally understanding. I began my speech. 8 years ago, people laughed at my dreams. Today those dreams own the building they're sitting in. After all, the best revenge isn't proving them wrong. It's succeeding so dramatically they finally learn to prove themselves right. The end.